How's it going, guys? My name is Eric, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through the installation of a secondhand JCR non-winch front bumper that I purchased for my 2001 Jeep Cherokee. I paid about $250 for this front bumper, which is about a third of what you can expect to pay for it brand new. So if you're looking to buy bumpers, sliders, any kind of armor like that, I would highly encourage you to check out Craigslist or your local Facebook pages and just see what's available. You never know what you can find. In the process of installing this front bumper, I had a buddy help me. You can accomplish the installation of this front bumper on your own, although there's a considerable amount of snags that you can expect to hit in the process, and I'll be walking you through some of those throughout this video. And there's a few steps to take before you install an aftermarket bumper, the first of which would be to simply detach the factory bumper from the front unibody support. There's 6 bolts that hold this in place. It's fairly straightforward to unbolt this and detach it. I also bent my horn brackets out of the way. I zip tied the factory fog light harness out of the way, and I utilized a Sawzall to slice off roughly 1/4 inch of the fender support bracket attaching to the front unibody support. The purpose of slicing off this 1/4 inch section is so that the tie-in brackets can slide on the outboard edges of the unibodies. There's no reason you wouldn't be able to reuse the factory steering box spacer. However, I opted for a sturdier choice, so in addition to this bumper, I'm also installing a JCR steering spacer. Now this is just going to give added support because the factory spacer is aluminum, and I don't feel like it's going to hold up all that much if I'm going to continue to take my Cherokee off-road. I apologize for the poor lighting of this shot, but what I'm trying to show here is that once you unbolt the 3 bolts that retain your steering box from the Cherokee, you can simply grab the steering box, move it over to the passenger side, and then you will be able to slide your hand in between the unibody and the steering box and retrieve the factory spacer. Now pay attention to how this is oriented, because if you're replacing your steering spacer like I am with an aftermarket one, it's going to need to be oriented in the same way. This is the part where it helps to have a partner helping you out. After you slide in the properly oriented steering spacer between your steering box and the unibody, you're going to want to have a buddy lay underneath the Jeep so that he can help you position the steering box, the steering spacer, as well as the tie-in bracket that you're going to be using to secure this front bumper. It's going to take more than just your own 2 hands to get all these aligned where you need them to be. Now once you've managed to do the driver's side, you're basically home free because the passenger side is a breeze. There's no steering box or anything to worry about. You simply bolt up the opposite side tie-in plate, and then once you have it bolted in place, you're ready to throw on the bumper to these tie-in brackets. Also, don't forget to use Loctite when you're installing these fasteners. The last thing you want is for your steering box or any other pieces of this bumper to come loose. Also, another recommendation, when you go to attach your JCR bumper to the tie-in plates, don't use the factory bolts or the clip nuts that were used on the front end of your unibody here. When you take the bolts off, take those bolts to Home Depot or a hardware store, get new hardware, and you want something that's going to have the same thread pitch, and you want it to be about a 1/2 inch longer to accommodate for the bumper and the tie-in plates that are going to be mounting this. So because I ordered this JCR front bumper secondhand, I didn't have an additional set of hardware included so that I could swap out all of the old hardware. Now, this didn't seem to be that big of an issue for me, except for the spot that I previously mentioned, the bolts that you need to attach the tie-in plate to the front bumper. And in addition to this, I found that when I reinstalled the steering box bolts, the thread engagement wasn't quite what I would like to see. Basically, the bolts would go in all the way and I could get them to torque properly, but the back end of the bolt, the threaded section, was essentially flush with my steering box. Now, Will it hold? Probably, but I'm probably going to make my way to the hardware store soon and get bolts that are maybe a 1/4 inch longer, just so I can have some nice positive thread engagement, and I can see threads sticking out of the back end of the box, just basically for warm and fuzzy. Alright guys, well I hope this video helps you out, and I could offer some insight that may ease your installation of your front bumper. If you have any feedback you'd like to leave, just leave it down below please, and really help out if you could subscribe to our channel. We'll have more content coming out for you guys soon, but in the meantime, just stay tuned. Thank you.